Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Jenny and today I have a review for you of the Storybook Cosmetics Wizardry and Witchcraft palette. I'm having the hardest time saying that. I really want to say witchcraft and wizardry like Harry Potter, but that's not what this is. It's based off of it though. And today, first I want to talk about the packaging. The packaging is supposed to look like a book, which I think is super neat. It's very similar to the Beauty and the Beast palette that I reviewed. I'll link that down below. It has a beautiful spine decoration, so like they're coming out with more palettes too, so you could line them up like a bookshelf and that would be super cute. It's made out of cardboard. It's kind of bulky, but you know, for that book feel, I think it's okay. It has the shininess on the front, back, and the spine. It's fine, it's pretty, but it can be hard to read. Like you have to tilt it at a certain angle to read what it says. The back has like a saying on the back. It says, "Once upon a time there were 3 sisters who never stopped believing in fairy tales, and they all lived happily ever after." If you didn't know, Storybook Cosmetics is, it was created by a set of triplets. I'll tag their Instagrams down below. I've been following them for a long time before they even thought of Storybook Cosmetics. They're super cute and they're super sweet and I think they're great. But anyway, back to the palette. When you open it up, you get a nice mirror, which is dirty, and then you get the shadows, and there's also a quote down here. "Magic is believing in yourself. If you can do that, you can make anything happen." You get 12 shadows, and the names are on them, but I think it's Missy, one of the triplets named Missy, is really into calligraphy, so she did the fonts for the shadows. I am not a fan. As much as I enjoy Missy and her content, I hate the font that she chose. It is, especially with the shininess of it, it is so hard to read. Like, it took me forever to figure out what the names of these shadows were, just because they're so difficult to read. Some of them are easy, but most of them, it's so just stylized, and then the way it's dipped around, I don't like it. That's like one of the only downfalls of this palette, really. That, and you only get, how many? 4 true mattes in this whole palette. Charms, Prophecy, Broomstick, and Cloak are the only mattes. Everything else has some form of shimmer or glitter in it. I think Spellbook could probably be considered a matte. It has glitter in it, but it doesn't translate on the eyes at all. But now I'll get into the look, so I'll see you in a few minutes. My eyes are already primed, and I've already tightlined my upper lash line, so going in with the Luxie 213 shading brush, I'm going to go into the shade Prophecy, just to set my primer, and then to make it a nice light base for all the colors to go on. I'm just going to put that on lightly. Up into the crease too, so those colors can blend properly. I'm taking a fluffy brush, like this. It's a little dirty, sorry. I'm going to go into the shade Charms, this peachy light color, and I'm going to take that into the crease slightly, and then into the outer V too, just to build up the color. Now this color is really light, so I'm not sure how this probably couldn't be a transition shade for deeper skin tones. It's barely a transition shade for me, so keep that in mind. There also aren't a lot of mattes in this, which is unfortunate. Most of them are shimmers. Now going into the shade Cloak with this nice gray color, I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going for like a cooler toned look today, so I wanted to add the gray just to complement the cool color that I'm going in with. I thought it would be nice to do a cool toned look, since warm shadows and warm looks and warm palettes are all the rage, so thought it would be nice to just mix it up, give everyone a little bit of variety. I actually really like this gray shade mixed with that peach shade. It kind of makes just like a nice eye contour color. On a more precise brush, this is the Small Tapered Blending 231 by Luxie. I'm going to go into the shade Broomstick. It's a nice warm brown. And I'm going to take that in the outer V area and lightly into the crease. Mostly just deepening the outer V Give the eyes a little more depth. Taking the Sodona Lace 30B, the 3B13, I'm just going to lightly go in and buff out the edges just so we don't have harsh lines in this look. That fluffy brush, and I'm going to go back into the gray cloak color, and I'm just going to buff that over top just to cool the tone down a little more. So then we're going to go in with color, like the teal color I'm thinking. With that same little brush, I'm going to go into the shade, it's like Cauldron? Yeah, Cauldron. This nice kind of blue-green color. And I'm going to take that on the outer V. Into the crease a little. I don't really want it to go all the way into the crease though. I guess I'm moving it in more to more like the outer half as opposed to the outer V. I actually really like just this matte look right here. This shadow isn't matte, but when you put it on, the shimmer doesn't really show up, so it's more of a matte, maybe more like a satin. We'll go with the satin. What I'm going to do is go in with the Luxie 211 concealer brush, and I'm going to go into the shade Jinx, this beautiful silver shade. It's so pretty. And I'm going to just rub it and then pat it onto the inner half of the eye. I actually really like the matte version. That might be a go-to look for me now. Taking that same brush, that doesn't have hardly any product on it, I'm just going to blend out the edges so there's no harsh shimmer edges against the matte. That tealy color kind of has a little bit of fallout, so does the shimmer shade. So I'm going to take this EcoTools fan brush and just kind of brush that away. With that same little fluffy brush, I'm actually going to go into the shade Potions, this nice green. And I'm just going to kind of tap that on top just to give it kind of a greenish appearance to it. Did a little bit. Just to give it a little bit of a pop of color. More than it already has. And I'm taking that Sodona Lace brush and blending the edges. To move on to the lower lash line, I'm going to go back in with the Charmed shade and put that all over the bottom lash line. Now I'm going to go into the shade Cloak, the gray, and put that on the outer half of the lower lash line. This is going to be a pretty smoky look. You can adjust this to make it less smoky, more smoky, whatever fits your aesthetic. I'm going to take a brush and just blend those colors together. Taking a flat definer brush, I'm going to go into the shade Broomstick again. And just lightly put that out here. We don't want it to be too warm out here, but we do want there to be definition on the outer edge. Blend that out again. Taking that definer shade, going back into the shade Cauldron, and putting that on the very outer edge. And then blending. I'm going to pull from my Makeup Geek palette, and I'm going to take the shade Shimma Shimma, and I'm going to pop that on the inner corners, just to bring some light to the inner corners of the eyes. The shade Prophecy, the one we used to set our primer, I'm going to take that on the brow bone, just to kind of bring some light to the brow bone without adding shimmer. Now what I'm going to do, since there isn't like a dark matte black, I'm going to take the matte black Makeup Geek shade on a angled brush, and I'm going to pretend that that's my eyeliner, because I don't use a lot of eyeliner, because I think it just kind of makes it look harsh, and I don't like harsh lines. I don't really like eyeliner all that much on myself. Just going to bring a little bit of definition to the lash line. Make it look a little bit fuller. So I went ahead and put on mascara, and this is the finished eye look. I really like how it turned out. Now I'm going to go ahead and start swatching. I'm going to go by row. So I'll do these 2 rows and then these 2 rows first. So the first 3, we have Broomstick, Sorcerer, and Cloak. So we have Broomstick, Sorcerer, and Cloak. Maybe it's the Ohioan in me, but every time I see red and gray together, I just think Ohio State. And then the next row, we have, oh, it's so hard to read, Potions, Prophecy, and Salem. Salem's a pretty color. So we have Potions, Prophecy, and Salem. Right here. It's like a purpley taupe color. It's so pretty. It's got some gold in it too. So those are the first 2 rows. Yeah, I've got room to do them all. The next row, we have Merlin, Bewitched, and Cauldron. Merlin, Bewitched, oh that's so pretty, and Cauldron. God, that gold is so beautiful. I wore it to work the other day, and it held up really well too, so that's a great color. And then the last row, we have Spellbook, Charms, and Jinx. Jinx is stunning too. So we have Spellbook, Charms, and Jinx. Ooh, it's so pretty. So there are all of the shades for you. The pans of these shadows appear to be full-size eyeshadow pans, so like if you were to go to MAC or Makeup Geek, like those standard single shadows, they appear to be that size. I think that the colors are they're interesting and they're pretty, but I think for a average everyday consumer, I don't know that these colors would appeal to you. They're all nice quality and they're very beautiful and they blend and they're great, but if you're not going to wear a green eyeshadow or a blue eyeshadow or a red eyeshadow, that really knocks down like half the palette that you're going to use. And this palette, I believe, is $50 something, 52. Let me check. Yeah, this palette is $52, which I think for the novelty of it, like, you know, if you really love Harry Potter, which I do, I love Harry Potter. It's so reminiscent of Harry Potter, and that's what they were going for, and I think it's a great deal for you. Like, I also have the Witchcraft and Wizardry brush sets. I have the one that's supposed to look, they're supposed to be the replicas of the Harry Potter wands, and then I also have their original wands brushes, and they're great quality, they're excellent, they're beautiful. Anyway, back to the palette. This palette's $52. I think if you love Harry Potter like I do, if you're a Harry Potter fan, if these colors scream at you and say, use me, you should get this palette. It's a good deal. I saw this, I wanted it because it's Harry Potter themed. I will buy anything Harry Potter themed, and I wasn't let down. The palette is great. It's not exactly travel friendly, but I can get past that. I'm still going to use it. The colors are great. The packaging's cute. The only downside is this freaking font. Maybe it's the graphic design student in me that hates the font, but I hate the font. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope it helped. If you would like to subscribe, I would really, really appreciate it. So thanks for being here. Bye!